Hello and welcome to the video podcast. My name is Matt McEwen. I'm sure you've seen the other videos I've done for school on different types of hardware and software that we can use for class. This video, not unlike the others, is going to cover some hardware this week. So we're going to be talking this week about some new type of hardware that is kind of more for the future. So it's not necessarily that we have it right now, but it's something to look forward to. So just to kind of get your mind thinking a little bit about maybe some things to come for the classroom of tomorrow. So what I'm going to be talking about is virtual reality. And now there's a number of different types of virtual reality systems that are being in development right now. Probably the two biggest ones are the Oculus Rift and Project Morpheus by Sony. Oculus Rift most recently was in the news because it got by Facebook for $2 billion, which was a huge acquisition. And if you remember, Oculus Rift got its initial investment from Kickstarter with $2.5 million. So anyhow, we're going to be talking about the Oculus Rift. And here's the definition, just to get an idea of what Oculus Rift is. The Oculus Rift is a new virtual reality headset that lets players step inside their favorite games and virtual worlds. I know what you're thinking, wait a minute, video games. But we're going to talk more about that. So we'll get into the application for school here in just a little bit, but let's first talk about the actual hardware and what it all means. So first off, here's our Oculus Rift over here. And so when you put this on your head, it fits pretty good. And it's got two little screens that go over your eyes, as you can see here, and they give you a different view. So we're going to talk about the advantage of this 3D versus kind of the past old school 3D stuff. Two big things we're going to talk about initially, the low latency and the 360-degree head tracking. So let's talk about low latency first. So what this means is that when you move your head around to look at different things, it really feels like you're in real life. It moves with your head, so there is no delay. Like if I look to the left, the screen will catch up to it eventually. So now when I move, it moves, and it moves pretty much simultaneously with your head, which gives you this experience of absolutely no lag. The more lag you have, the more kind of motion sickness you're going to get with it. Now the next part, the 360-degree head tracking. That means you can turn your head in 360 degrees, which I can't really do. But I can look all over the place, and it's gonna go with me. It's not like it's just gonna look, and then all of a sudden I keep looking, but my screen doesn't change. So that's pretty amazing right there, technology. So that's part of the hardware there, what that can do. Now, as we move on here, I also want to talk about stereoscopic 3D view. And this is achieved by having two different screens for each eye. And they show you two different images that are slightly different, but when your eyes view them, they put them together and you have this depth and scale and just a 3D image. So I'm going to put one up on the screen here, so take a look at this. Now as this is up here, what you can do is you can, if you're watching this on your computer or on a TV or something, if you sit back far enough and you cross your eyes and you can get the two images to cross, they will become 3D to some extent. Now, we're kind of cheating by crossing our eyes like this, but you kind of get an idea of what it can do and what it will look like. Now, if you actually had it on, you wouldn't be crossing your eyes because your eyes would be viewing these two different images and they'd be making it 3D. All right, now, speaking of these two different images that you're seeing in each of your eye, as of right now, the current version, which is DK2, which is the development kit 2, they have 1080p in each eye. The 1080p is like the amount of quality that you get to see. And like high definition TVs, if you think about buying high definition TVs, they usually advertise 1080p or 720p. The 1080p is really good high quality. And Oculus Rift is boasting that right now they have 1080p in each one of their eyes, and that the consumer product, the final one, which is rumored to be coming out Christmas time of 2014, is actually going to be higher than 1080p in each eye, which will give us just amazing quality, and you'll really be able to see a lot of amazing just features and everything when you actually get it and wear it. So now we're talking about all this hardware. Now, what are we going to do with this hardware? How are we going to be able to use it in a classroom setting. I mean, this thing in my mind is going to just revolutionize society, let alone our education. So since we are, I'm doing this video for an educational setting, let's talk about more the educational part of it. So the first part I want to talk about is virtual tours. So think about this. I can tell my students, all right, let's put on our Oculus Rift. We have this on. Now, let's go to this museum. All of a sudden, we can take them to the Louvre. We can take them to Egypt, which not exactly going to take a class field trip to Egypt right now. Even if I had the money, probably not too safe. But I can take a virtual tour there. All right, the next one. Think about using this, building off of tours. Think about using this with, say, Google Maps. All right, Google has already done the legwork for us. They have these amazing cameras that can take, 360-degree images for the most part, and you can look around and all those on the computer. Well, why not hook that up to head tracking? Now I can tell my students, hey, why don't you take a walk down downtown London? And also we can go there from the classroom and they actually get this amazing high definition, maybe eventually 3D world that they can see all this from. It would just be amazing. All right, now, if you remember earlier, I said that you can interactive games and so forth. That was my little quote from Oculus Rift there. So, think about it like this. There are video games out there already that cover, say, World War II, for example. So, with this type of technology, I can put my students in an environment that no longer exists. I can tell them, put on your Oculus Rift, put on this virtual reality headset, and you can storm the beaches of Normandy in 1944. What an amazing World War II experience that I can show them pictures, I can show them some videos, but now I'm putting them in the driver's seat. This would be an amazing experience for for students, for anyone for that matter. All right, now the next one to think about, and this is kind of maybe going, you can see things that maybe there's no other way to see. Maybe I can say, all right, let's take a close-up and an interactive science lesson. We can see things that are microscopic, but we can have them large and in front of us, and maybe we can interact with them. So the applications of doing things that there are no other ways to do. Maybe I can go to the moon with this mapping, or I can use images from the Mars rover and go on Mars. Places that, who knows, no one might ever get a chance to go to. Now, on top of that building, there are events that we can see. Like I talked already about using Google Maps. All right, you use Google Maps, you go somewhere. Those pictures have already been taken. Well, wouldn't it be great if there was some type of device out there that could take real video live that my students could put on and see the images live? Well, there are cameras out there that are built like this one here. And this camera can take video in 360 degrees at all times. So if I put on the Oculus Rift, when I move my head, it's taking the video feed from different cameras as I'm looking around. So now, all of a sudden, say for gym class, I say, okay, we want to go watch a game of cricket. Well, you're probably not going to find any cricket games in the United States, at least none near where I live, or maybe where you live. So now I can tell them to put this on, we can watch a real live cricket game over in England from our home here in the United States. So what an amazing experience to see something that there's no other way to see. Now, there's countless other applications for this in education and just society in general that I get really excited about. Now, I realize that, my normal videos aren't, too awful long, and I try to be concise with everything, so I will stop here. But I have this amazing article, which I will put a link in here as well, from the businessinsider.com, which has reports that Oculus/Facebook is considering giving out Oculus Rift devices via virtual reality to schools for free. Now, this is still very, very early on. We don't even have a consumer product at this point, but it is something they are considering because of all the applications that I mentioned and so much more. So, anyhow, in closing, virtual reality is something that is coming. It's going to be here one way or the other. And it would be great for us as teachers to be prepared for it and excited for it and be able to start working on how we can adapt this into our classrooms. I hope you enjoyed my video, and I hope you enjoyed my other videos, and stay tuned for even more videos to come. Thank you so much. My name again is Matt McEwen. Have a wonderful day.